Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Threesome FPL podcast, the only FPL podcast to mainly discuss Bisto, which is what we do best. I'm here with Ant. How are you, Ant?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, all the better for seeing you two as always.
Good, good. And oh, sorry, there was more.
I was just going to say you two are like sunshine on a cloudy day.
That's sweet. That's sweet. I mean, not true, but sweet.
Yeah, true.
We're here also with Mike, who previous to his current position was walking us around his work building, which is a shame people didn't get to see it because Mike was at the angle where if you hold the phone and you can see yourself, a selfie mode, on the camera, the angle makes your head look like a thumb. That's how Mike was looking. Looked really good.
Thumb head.
Yeah, thumb head. Mike, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, not so bad. Pleased to be getting together, albeit late on in the week, lads. Busy boys, aren't we?
We are.
Aren't we just? And the game week's just finished. So
yes, absolutely. Yes.
So in a way, we could claim we did it on purpose.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is all deliberate, of course.
So we just had game week 22. Man United had a double. Leeds had a double. How did you get on them, Mike?
Oh, sorry. I was just. Do you mind if I make my crisp sandwich whilst one?
We wouldn't expect anything less, mate.
What? We have had a question. What's Mike eating today? So let's go there quickly.
I've gone for a ham. I've made my own packed lunch. I don't think I've ever made a packed lunch. Maybe ever. Anyway, I've done it. And I've
Please
gone
be
for
Deadly Dunkables.
Ham and mustard sandwich.
Nice.
With salt and vinegar crisps inside.
Salt and vinegar in that.
Tangy.
I'd maybe go cheese and onion in there, if I'm honest.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, I'm happy with what I've done. Anyway, did you ask about my game week?
We did.
Yes.
That's how this normally starts, isn't it? Well, I had an exciting week. I triple captained. Bruno Fernandes. And actually, upon reflection, I did the maths this morning because I took him out again. And actually, what I paid to get him in, and I've paid to move him out, it really probably wasn't worth my while. Anyway, I triple captained him. He got me 36 points. Sanchez got me 8 in goal at home to Bournemouth. Shaw got me the 6. Rashford got me the 20. I mean, if you didn't have Rashford in your team this week, you were definitely looking at a red arrow. I think that's what they call it in the trade. Callum Wilson got me 7 because he was playing West Ham and he loves playing West Ham.
Mike, just for listeners' purposes, if there's any way you could talk facing your phone, every time you turn your head, you're quieter.
Oh,
really? You're not wearing your headset, yeah.
Sorry. And Matoma on my bench for 11. But I like to always have somebody with good, strong points on my bench every week. So Matoma for 11 on my bench. So 87 was my point, having triple captain Bruno.
Fair enough. And how'd you get on?
I got less than Mike, but I did only get 5 less than Mike, and I did not triple captain, so I'm quite happy about that. So I bought in Fernandes this week, joined you boys, went on the bandwagon, and then it was between him or Rashford. That decision was taken out of my hands because I lost the quiz last week. So lovely Craig Crowth picked my captain. He very kindly went for Rashford, which is very handy. So he scored 40 of my team's 82 points this week, which was good. As Mike just said, I think if you hadn't got him, you would certainly be looking at Red Arrow. Other than that, the biggest scorer in my team, other than Fernandes, was Nonto. Scored last night in the first minute at Old Trafford. At last, I was just thinking about taking him out, and he comes up trumps. And a Paddy B assist fill as well. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Lovely Patrick Bamford. Yes, 11 points. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have any faith in the man, the legend, Seamus Coleman. Sat there on my bench with 8 points. I should have known that the Dyche effect would kick in straight away. 8 points for him in their win at home to Arsenal. But unfortunately on my bench, not very useful. And particularly frustrating when Saka, Martinelli, Saliba and Trippier all got less than him combined. But that is the joys of having strong benches, I guess. So yeah, 82, as I say. I've gone up a couple 100,000 places.
That's good.
So I'm fairly happy with that. And I think, Phil, because you are my target now, I got more points than you.
Yeah, I thought I'd let you have a week where you got more points than me.
You're kind, mate. You're kind.
Yeah, so I had Ariza Balaga, and then I deserve to have a bad week because I made a controversial change where I talked him up a lot, but I removed this guy.
Did you
Yeah.
actually?
Wow.
Just for one game, my theory was he was playing Chelsea, and I thought that wouldn't end 0-0. So I thought I'll swap him out for Wan-Bissaka. Great move. Got a double. Been playing really well. Getting lots of compliments from the manager. Well, concedes in the first game. Completely not in the squad last night. So he got me 2. And that's fine. I accept my punishment for taking out Tim Ream. Ariza Balaga got 10. He's become a bonus points
He's insane,
magnet
isn't he,
at the moment. Yeah,
Absolutely insane pointage.
He's really playing well. His last 3 fixtures, he's got 10, 9, and 10. So Chelsea are not scoring loads, but they're not conceding goals. I had De Bruyne, kept hold of him because I thought double this week coming. Let's keep hold of De Bruyne. 1 point, thank you. I don't quite know what's going on with City. We'll probably talk about that. Haaland again, blanking. Nketiah did nothing. Kane got me 8 points. But yeah, it was much of a muchness. Interestingly, another old hero of mine got some points on my bench. Yeah,
wow.
The only way should have been Schlupp. He got more points. Just Schlupp alone got more more points than Wan-Bissaka, Almiron, and De Bruyne got for me. But
Almiron, that's another one. He's another one who's completely tailed off, hasn't he? Newcastle haven't, but he has points wise. He hasn't been in the points for a while. So
ever since you got rid.
Yeah, there you go, mate. You see, everyone, one good decision I've possibly made this season was I took him out at the end of the World Cup. And yeah, that has proved to be the correct decision so far.
My issue with Almiron is he's got Bournemouth this weekend.
Yeah.
So
triple captain probably.
It's tricky. It's tricky. But how did our punts get on? Which is where we pick a player with less than 2% ownership, and if you do well, then you don't get your captain picked by a listener. How did they get on?
Did I have Matoma?
You tried having Matoma. Matoma had far more than 2% ownership. So
no. See, I don't think that's true. You see,
no, it is.
I think Matoma had under 2% ownership when the pod was recorded, but that went up by the time the match day came around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's true, Mike, because Matoma had been getting a lot of owners in recent weeks. At the moment, he's got ownership of 11.2%. So for it to go up about 10% is what you're saying since we last recorded last week is not true.
Okay.
Matoma was an invalid call. You had someone else. I think you had a United player. You had Weghorst, didn't you?
Yeah, that was it. Weghorst.
Oh, whatever.
Did I have Matoma?
Nice try, Mike.
Brilliant.
Who did you have, Ant?
I had Jack Harrison, who got 4 points. Amazing. So yeah, no return from him, I'm afraid, from the double game week.
You know the chant, feed the horse and he will score?
Yeah.
It's feed the horse and he will shit everywhere.
Michael!
Wow. Oh, language Timothy.
Oh, great.
No.
Now I've got to edit the pod.
Watershed.
What?
Oh, dear.
Oh, it's a family show.
Is it?
8 minutes
yes,
and 55 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. 8 minutes 55. I'll just write that down. Oh, Michael.
Surely, I mean, defecate?
That's fine. We're fine.
Well, it's a rubbish. Defecate would make it a rubbish chant. But yeah, fine. I'm happy with that.
Okay, we'll just bleep it. I mean, we don't need to cut that.
No, but we'll see what happens. Anyway,
hey,
you're
Phil,
asking...
you know the chant, feed the horse and he will score?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's more feed the horse and he will defecate everywhere.
Lovely. Right.
So catchy.
My punt was this guy.
You're beautiful.
And I was very happy about that.
Wow.
Mike, I thought you'd frozen, but you were pausing to eat your sandwich.
I couldn't hear whatever clip you just played, so it was lost.
Well, good news. It was Patrick Bamford, who, as we know, last night got an assist.
You did. That means you're the winner, my friend.
Yeah, so that means I get to do the quiz.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah,
That is a
and
shame because I've got some really interesting facts about cities. But never mind, we'll do that next time.
Oh dear.
It does sound exciting. But as it is, I will do the quiz. Here we go. It's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz. The loser gets their captain picked by a listener with great instinct. Sometimes cruel and sometimes kind. The listener is always right. It's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz. Hooray. So this quiz is Who Am I? So I'm going to give you some information and you can buzz in by saying your name.
Did you know that Newcastle invented Lucasade?
I can't wait for next week.
Anyway,
Right. Just so listeners are aware, last week we did have a debate about what flavour the red Bisto was, and it was gravy. It is not beef flavour. So that was exciting to win that debate.
Did
exciting.
go on
generic
quite well, that debate
gravy.
as well.
Who knew?
Yeah. News to me.
Yeah. Okay, so first player then. So you'll get every time I naturally pause, you get a guess. Is that fair?
Fine.
Love it. Let's
Okay.
do it.
This player was born in Grantham, Lincolnshire, and raised in a small nearby village of Norwell, Nottinghamshire. That's not surely nearby, is it? Oh, it's born in Lincolnshire. Okay. Joined Nottingham Forest Academy as an 8-year-old after playing junior football for Muscombe Cougars. Okay. He studied in his GCSEs French, history, biology, and general studies at A level and attained 3 Bs and a C at A level.
Patrick
do have-
Bamford.
Can I have a name, please? We've got
Mike
rules
Patrick
here.
Bamford.
Correct.
Oh my goodness!
He's 1-0 up. He's 1-0 up.
Of course, it was going to be Paddy B.
He's
It's
a
just going to be
footballer.
people you like. Right.
He's a footballer with a GCSE.
The next guess is Tim Ream. There we go. It's just people you
Okay.
like. Third guess, Schlupp.
I better change some of these players quick. Okay. Right, next player then. His first of 3 or best of 5, however you want to describe it. So this player was born on the 30th of May, 1999 in Lewisham, which is part of the London area, to Ghanaian parents.
Mike, Jeffrey Schlupp.
No, it's not Jeffrey.
Shame.
Anthony, do you want to guess at this point?
No guess for me at this point.
Okay. He started his career with Chelsea after being scouted at the age of 9 while playing for South East London Sunday team Hilly Fielders.
Mike, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
No. He was released by Chelsea in 2015.
I mean, so many players have been released by Chelsea.
On the 8th of August 2019, this player joined Championship club Leeds United on loan. Sorry, 8th of August 2019. I don't know if I said 15, but 2019. Joined Leeds United on loan. And Bielsa described this player as a young, important player in English football.
Go on me.
On loan from who, sorry?
Well, we haven't got there yet. He was on loan from Arsenal. Okay.
Mike, Eddie Nketiah.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Brilliant. We never got that. I never knew he was at Leeds at any point.
Okay. Right.
Very good.
Next player. This player was born in Arlon, Belgian, Luxembourg.
Mike, Jeffrey Schlupp.
No. What? I mean, hang on. What's Belgian, Luxembourg? I'm sorry to. What? Luxembourg, Belgium?
Luxembourg is owned by a multitude of countries.
Is it?
No,
I knew that
I've made that up. I've got no idea.
I know that Belgium. I know that Luxembourg's capital city is Luxembourg because they've got no imagination. But
fairly incredible.
yeah, okay. Anyway, so born in Belgian Luxembourg, we'll have to get onto that another time. He practiced with youth teams of Standard Liège after going to boarding school.
Mike, Kevin
Yes.
De Bruyne.
No. In 2011, this player moved to Genk after Standard Liège decided not to recruit him permanently.
And
yes.
Yuri Tillemans.
No. In 2017, he joined Serie A club Atalanta for €6 million. Any guesses there?
No.
No.
In September 2020, this player moved to the Premier League.
He moved to Spurs, didn't he?
when he signed for Leicester.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I mean,
This
darn
player made his national team debut on the 7th of September 2018.
Mike.
Yes.
Timothy Castagna.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
This player suffered a double eye socket fracture and had to leave the tournament in the Euros. Yes, it is Timothy Castagna.
Oh, come on. This guy.
The knowledge of this man, he's on fire.
Well, boys, that's the quiz and a familiar tale, I'm afraid.
Oh dear, just like Bournemouth. Nil.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. So
no, it's
you
fine.
will get your captain picked by a listener this week.
How exciting. Bring it on.
Okay, so listener question.
Boys, sorry, you might have to edit there, Phil, and put the music because I'm going to make a very, very quick call. But I'll try and get back in, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
Hey, it's fine. And those on YouTube can just listen to me and Ant chat.
Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
Yeah. 17 minutes in, Mike makes a call.
Your notes from these pods must be fairly incredible. Swearing and live phone calls.
To be honest, I think we can just continue without him. I can ask you about your team, and that'll save me editing that out. So everyone's happy about that. And so you've got double game week coming up again.
Yep. Again, yeah. It's only a mini one though, again, isn't it?
It's a mini one. Big teams though.
Arsenal and Manchester City, is that correct? I believe.
Yeah. So how many from each team do you plan on having in?
I am going to go for 6 in total, 3 of each. So I've already got 3 Arsenal. And I've got Haaland, but everyone's got Haaland. Of course, the issue with Haaland at the moment is that he's only got 2 points in 3 of his last 5 game weeks. So not exactly on fire as Manchester City aren't, as you mentioned earlier. But I'll tell you one person I really want to get in, and not just because he's got lovely hair and because he's ex-Bournemouth, but Nathan Ake is a man in form and a man who does not deserve to be on the losing team at the moment. He's been superb, and he's even coming for special praise from Pep, hasn't he?
One of the only players that Pep doesn't hate that plays for Manchester City.
Yes, this is true. It seemingly he is loved. So Nathan Ake is definitely one on my hit list. And then I don't know after that, because maybe Mahrez, but I do feel you need the 6 here because it does feel like it's one of those game weeks where everybody is going to have 3 Arsenal and 3 Manchester City, aren't they? Are you planning to do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think 3 Arsenal is a good idea because they double again in 2 weeks' time. So they've got a double this week, then they play Aston Villa. Then the next game week 25, they've got a double Leicester away and Everton at home.
Both very winnable. But then I think they've got a blank, haven't they, coming up soon? I think they...
No.
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't blank. So, yeah. I mean, everyone's heavy on Arsenal anyway, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy. I've got Ben White. Really, if you could have 3 Arsenal players, who would they be? I mean, in my mind, probably Saka, Nketiah, and maybe Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard. Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the moment, I've got Saliba, who I think I've had since about week 3. One of my mainstays in my team. Martinelli and Saka, but yeah, Odegaard is certainly in the points more than Martinelli. Saka, I think, is just a live wire. It's one you have to have. And normally they're pretty robust defensively, Arsenal, but I know that some Arsenal fans were making me laugh at the weekend by acting as if the world was going to fall apart because they lost one game.
Yeah.
They just had a job done on them, didn't they, by Everton? And it was no surprise in that game that it was the ex-Burnley duo who scored, and they scored from a corner. Of course they did. And
Yeah.
that's what Everton will do for the rest of the season now, and they'll stay up comfortably.
Does not to shoot all over the place, but that does that make you want to get Everton defenders in? I mean, obviously you've got Seamus.
I've got Seamus
Coleman.
I tell you now, it feels to me like Everton will beat Liverpool at the weekend, even though I think it's at Anfield, isn't it? But I think Everton I think they will be riding so high confidence-wise off the back of that Arsenal win, and Liverpool in disarray. I mean, defensively, on Saturday away to Wolves, they managed to be worse than Bournemouth, which takes some doing.
Yeah. They were so poor, and although there's rumours that Jota might be back in training, they need, and Firmino actually, they need them both back.
I mean, they need not to play Matip. I mean, the first goal had me laughing out loud. I mean, it's proper schoolboy stuff. It's a bit like me on a Monday night. Hilarious. I mean, it just shouldn't happen, and I don't really know what's happened to him for them to have dropped quite so far. But remember when Salah was in everyone's teams? That feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Well, they've got a tasty looking double game week coming up, Liverpool, and I wonder if people might be tempted. I've got no Liverpool assets, but people might be tempted. I think they've got Wolves and one other.
They got Wolves at home, and then they've got Palace away. That's in game week 25.
Yeah, that looks quite nice.
For me,
I'm interested. You know that both Brantano footwear and Shoes have their head offices in Leicester.
Are they the same? Are they the same company?
No, they're not. They're rivals, and yet they both have. I suppose keep your friends close and your enemies even closer, guys. Maybe that's the mentality there.
Feels like you're spoiling next week's quiz already.
Oh, there's plenty more facts where they came from.
Yeah, that is true.
Great news.
Mike feels like he's frozen, and for those on YouTube, please do enjoy that. Oh, there he is.
There he goes. He's fine.
Yeah,
he's alive and kicking.
He's all over the place. I'm just going to mute him until his head starts moving around at a normal speed, because at the moment he's just blocked. He looks like he's got no neck. Oh, he's moving again. There you go.
It's like a Lego character.
Yeah. I'll unmute him now.
Is that a normal speed?
But Mike, that may be because it's similar region. Leicester and Northampton are very near each other.
Yeah,
Mike's, yeah. I mean, I'm muting him again. He's going to annoy me.
Harsh.
Oh, just because he keeps flashing in and out like a horror film. It's strange. But Mike, if you can hear this, Northampton is and has traditionally been the hub of leather and leather goods, and shoes have traditionally been made of leather, although now you get cheap ones. And they are very close by, so maybe they're positioning themselves near the nation's
sounds like
leather.
cobblers to me.
He's here all week.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, dear. You've enjoyed that far more than the listeners will.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep muting him. Just going to mute him again there because he just keeps freezing. And is he freezing on your screen?
No, he's all right, actually. He's quite smooth.
Then it's my machine. Who cares?
Right. Yeah, back off.
Oh, and there's a delay.
Oh, there is such a delay. I'll tell you what, lads. I'll leave you to it because you've had a bit of Might Be Gold, and I'll let you boys discuss the rest of the week.
Okay.
Love to listeners. And in particular to Mrs. Cooper, a new listener we picked up over the weekend.
Mrs. Cooper, eh?
Yeah.
You've been hanging with Mrs. Cooper?
I have. Those rumours are purely that. Bye-bye now.
Okay, cool.
Goodbye.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Well, that was weird.
Sorry about that, listeners. So what we were saying was Everton defence. So he attempted to get Everton defence. That snowballed into Mike's pixelations. So sorry about that. I mean, this week's episode, after last week being such a strong episode, this week appears to be a complete shambles. But we've got time. We've got time to pick it up and improve it.
Indeed, it's never shambolic, or never not far away from being shambolic, I should say, should it? But it's not like we're over 100 episodes into this podcast now, and we're fully professional now.
I think what's happened is that we care even less.
Is that possible?
Yeah. So I, I think we care even less. So the product has slowly gone downhill, perhaps.
Yeah, it's deteriorated slightly. We can only apologise to our 3 listeners,
Yeah.
but there we
Yeah.
go. You know, as you say, with time is on our side this week, Phil. We've got time to pick this up.
We have got time to pick this up, and us two may be the more professional of the 3. You never know.
Although I was enjoying seeing Mike's little head bobbing around there. But anyway, there is always a shambolic episode.
It just
with-
kept
with this
freezing
pod.
when he had no neck. It was weird for me to see.
It was weird.
for me to see.
Okay, so
So
going back to your teammate, you're talking about not having 3 Arsenal and 3 City. So what are you going to do?
So I don't want 3 City because I'm not very impressed with them. And I've got Haaland, I've got De Bruyne. Their defense has been poor. They've conceded in their last 4 games, I believe.
This is
So
true.
the defense, even like getting Edison as a 1-week punt seems a bit pointless. So unless I was thinking of getting Mahrez, I may just leave that at 2. Arsenal, however, because they've got another double, so they've got 5 fixtures in 3 game weeks, I will try everything I can to get Saka.
Yeah, I've got him in. He's been brilliant for us this season, hasn't he? So yeah, he's definitely one I think you need to have. But
Man United have got a blank, and so have Newcastle in game week 25 when Arsenal have that double. So it might be due to League Cup final. So it might be worth bravely shifting out some of the people who have been doing well for you recently.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tricky one, isn't it? Because Trippier is obviously one that we've all got. I think the vast majority of people have got. But I think you'd be a fool to get rid of him based on that one blank game week. Although having said that, if you do look even further ahead and how much you plan, game week 26 when they come back, they are away to City on the 4th of March. So there is a little tricky run of games coming up for them after the little break. So if ever you're going to get him out, maybe now's the time. But he's just a mainstay, isn't he, Trippier?
Can't
He's
get rid
always
of
in the points. You just
can't get rid of Trippier.
No, this is true.
Bruno Fernandes, however, there's a lot of money in Bruno Fernandes, and he is the player I'm thinking of maybe shifting out, although he's got good fixtures coming up to fund sort of maybe Mahrez or Saka.
Yeah, I mean they've got Leeds away this weekend, which is fairly bonkers when they've only played them last night. But such is the way the fixtures work out. But yeah, with that gap. But again, Fernandes is in the points, and if you look at certainly short term, before that break, they've got Leeds and then they've got Leicester. So no, it's tricky. But they've then got a tricky game when they come back away at Anfield. So I don't know, but Fernandes is in peak form at the moment.
He's in peak form, but at one point that form will drop off. So maybe now's the time.
Will Man United's form also drop off, do you think?
Well, it could do, couldn't it? Because, well, I mean, obviously that's how life works. Anything can happen. But they didn't look great last night, by all accounts. I mean, not that any of us in the UK could see it legally.
Yeah, that was fairly ridiculous, wasn't it? But hey, at least we all got to enjoy Sunderland against Fulham in the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. With regards to Newcastle, which we were just talking about, we have had a question from Craig Richards who asks, do you think Bournemouth will score against Bruno? Do you think Bournemouth will improve considering the January signings? So Mike's not here to be impartial, so, let it all out.
Well, I don't think you'll find it, to me, certainly if you go off social media, which is never the best place to look for certain things, is it? But if you look at social media, I don't think we've had this kind of, not hatred, that's probably a strong word, but people wanting a manager out as much as we've got at the moment, probably since probably Paul Groves. Would that be fair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back a few years. Or Jimmy Quinn, of course, when we were bottom of League Two, just before Eddie came in, and of course we know what happened when he came in. But yeah, I do. Part of me feels sorry for Gary O'Neill because it wasn't his fault he was given the job. That was the owner's decision, and obviously we have had injuries to key players such as Tavernier, who's been brilliant since he signed for Middlesbrough, and of course Dominic Solanke. I think all Bournemouth fans said, didn't we, that if Solanke gets injured, we are in a world of trouble, and that has proven to be the case, unfortunately. But when your team is so poor that you basically having to celebrate getting a shot on target, I think that is that is an indicator of how much we have fallen. And the fact that I wasn't actually, even at 85 minutes, 0-0 on Saturday, I thought we'll probably still go and lose this, and we found a way to lose it. And unfortunately, it does appear to be after O'Neill decided to go to 5 at the back and just basically try and sit on the 6-yard line and try and defend it. So I fear for him this weekend, if we lose to Newcastle, which I think we will, that he'll be gone. And I could only think and hope that the owners haven't sacked him yet because they're trying to have somebody lined up ready to go. Rather than relying on a caretaker, and also the fact that, of course, officially he wasn't given the job full time until during the World Cup. So technically, he's only actually had about 9-10 games in full charge. But we're dreadful, aren't we, Phil? There's just no real ray of light, really, is there, at the moment?
Well, the ray of light is the Championship, and we're being called home.
Yeah, true.
You know, so in that respect, there is a slight ray of light, but I think the owners have got an issue because if they try and sack him now and then maybe appoint a new manager within the next couple of weeks, say, the new manager has then got a run of fixtures of Man City at home, Arsenal away, and Liverpool at home.
It's not the best, is it, really?
So a new manager needs to gather momentum. So are they best using Gary O'Neill as cannon fodder during these fixtures and then get rid of him after, say, the Liverpool game? But I actually think he's a lovely guy. And I think he is hamstrung by the squad he has got there. Not being good enough, and B, being injured.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because at the start of the season, obviously we lost 9-0 to Liverpool. Scott Parker was much derided, and he came out and said those things that he really shouldn't have said, and that's probably what got him the sack. And then, of course, off the back of that, Gary O'Neill comes in, does a really good job. We won 4 games, and everyone's like, "Oh, there you go. Scott Parker was talking rubbish. This squad is good enough to stay up," because we were mid-table at that point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it seems that we can only beat Everton. And since we come back from the World Cup, we've got 1 point and 1 goal, and we just, I just can't see. Even if we start to pick up a few results. And I think, by the way, just to say, these January signings I think are good. Atara, Traore looked really good for 60 minutes on Saturday. This Ukrainian centre-back, whose name escapes me, apparently 20 years old, and he's got 24 caps or something ridiculous for his country.
Tbilisi?
That's the one. I think he's going to be a brilliant signing. And I think potentially some of these may actually stay if we do go down to Championship. My worry is with this season is, okay, if we do start getting points, are there 3 worse teams than us in this league? I don't think there are. Southampton, potentially. Other than that, you would expect Wolves to get out of it. You would expect Everton now to stay up. Now they've got Dyche. I mean, who else realistically? Leeds, if they've sacked Jesse Marsh and got a good point last night. So if we stay up, who would be the other 2 to go down? And I don't think you could name another 2 teams.
Yeah, Southampton is one of them, but it isn't Tbilisi. I don't know where that came from. It's Sabani.
Sabani. Sounds similar.
Yeah, Ilyas Sabani. On that, then you saw Bournemouth play, and you said that they looked all right. Atara looked good.
He looks lively, yeah. I mean, Semenyo, of course, as well from Bristol City was lively. He had a good chance, didn't he, in the second half when he kind of went through 1-on-1 and really either had to shoot earlier or square it to Atara, who could have had a free shot at goal. So I think there might be goals in us at last, but I'm just not convinced we got enough.
Okay, Atara is 5 million on the game. A nice little enabler for you. Semenyo also 5 million on the game.
Well, both will start on Saturday without any shadow of a doubt. And of course, Atara's 1 home game. He got an assist in the first half for our 1 goal that we scored since the World Cup. So, he would certainly be an option. But as you say, our worry is after Wolves next week. That is a horrible little run of games. City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. So you wouldn't potentially have him in for long, or if you did, he would certainly be sat on your bench, I would suggest.
And with Bournemouth are not, sorry, it's a bit Bournemouth heavy podcast. Bournemouth are not the sort of battling team that like Burnley were, where they might actually scrape a result against one of these big teams. We just get battered. Like there's no 2 ways about it.
No, it's true.
Bar a very, very rare result, we just get battered against the big clubs. We're just whipping boys. I don't think our players believe that we're good enough.
No.
And so they just roll over, and not through their fault. Some of the players are still players that we've had in League One. But who knows what's going to happen with Bournemouth? I tell you another club who interests me on a fantasy football perspective is Aston Villa.
Although they did lose last weekend to Leicester, didn't they? That was a brilliant game of football, by the way. But yeah, I've had a really good run, haven't they, under old Unai?
But they're scoring goals. That's the element of Aston Villa that I like. I was with our mate Rob last night, and he was saying the issue is that the issue is that Unai, private joke, Unai Emery's trying to play out from the back, and they're adapting to that. Ollie Watkins looks like a man reborn. 7.1 million on the game.
If low ownership as well, hasn't he? 2.6% at the moment.
Really low ownership. So he's a real good option at the moment. Bailey obviously is cheap if you would need an enabler in midfield, 4.5 million. But I think Ollie Watkins is a real differential if you've got like Mitrovic, who's not doing much at the moment. Mitrovic is quietly, his last 6 games, 0-5-0-0-2-2.
I mean, he's one that I think I need to start shipping out now. But I mean, the trouble with Villa, certainly very short term, i.e. the next 2 game weeks, Manchester City and Arsenal. But from game week 25, they've got Everton away, Palace home, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home. So nice little run for him. And he's actually Villa's highest scoring player this season so far with 79 points. So he's definitely an option. And I think, 18 of those points have come in the last 2 game weeks. So he's certainly in form.
What about Wolves?
What about them indeed? They've got a decent manager, I would suggest. And as I said to you, I don't think they're going to go down. And they're in the goals again, aren't they? So
yeah.
But looking at their team, obviously Sarr, they were fairly solid defensively, so he's still top. But Neves has always been one that has tempted me. He does remind me of you. I think you're very similar. It's like you were separated at birth.
Thank you. That means a lot. It's a shame I got my hair cut.
Yeah, it is, because otherwise you would be the same person. But yeah, again, really good little run of fixtures for Wolves coming up. Saints away, Bournemouth home, Fulham away, Liverpool away, which I don't think is anything to fear these days, or certainly at the moment, and then Spurs and Newcastle. So just 1.5% ownership for him. And certainly this weekend, I'm really interested to see this because, we think it's pretty toxic at Bournemouth at the moment, but I would argue it's even more toxic at St Mary's towards Nathan Jones. So that is definitely one to keep an eye on. Neves, spoiler alert, is going to be my punt this week.
Excellent. Max Kilman has played every minute of every game for Wolves this season. He's 4.3 million defender on the game. His last 3 games, he got 9 points against West Ham. They got 0. He got 0 points against Man City because they lost 3-0, and he got 11 points against Liverpool. So even with that 0 in there, it's a good average score for the 3 weeks. So he is good if you're stuck with Wan-Bissaka like me.
Yeah, get him out. I mean, just looking at Wolves' fixtures right through until the end of the season, actually only 3 of their remaining fixtures, according to the game in terms of the fixture difficulty rating, are higher than 3. So basically what they're saying is they've only got 3 hard games, which are Liverpool, Manchester United and Arsenal. Apparently all the rest are winnable. So maybe we should all be looking at Wolves' assets.
Yeah, maybe we should. Mike has apologized. He sent me a message saying he came, he swore, he disappeared. He also thinks it's very important.
He still made us laugh.
That we point out that Charles Dickens used to be a policeman in Liverpool. So
he really should stop spoiling this quiz for next week. I love the fact that he's put more effort into these stats or information on cities than he probably has for most weeks in terms of prep for the pod. But there we go.
Do you remember that week he did prep?
Yeah, we were shocked, weren't we?
Whew, crazy days.
What a week that was, by the way. What a week.
Yeah. Anthony.
Yes.
Do you want to do a quick fixture preview? It's a short pod this week because I've got stuff to do. You've got stuff to do. And Mike has no signal. So, do you want to do the fixtures?
Yes, I'll run through Saturday. So it is the mini double game week this week with Arsenal and Man City. So the lunchtime game on BT is West Ham against Chelsea. I mean, we'll just quickly cover this. But Chelsea, as you mentioned earlier on the pod, because they didn't want to draw with Fulham, 650 million or something their squad was worth in that game, and they were abysmal.
Just to give you an idea of how much that is more than I earn per annum.
Which is, and we know that's it's a fair whack, mate. So that's how much Chelsea are worth. Yeah, it just shows that money, it's going to take time for that team to bed in, probably similar to what Nottingham Forest did with their 30 new players this season. But I think West Ham are going to win that game.
Do you? Because West Ham haven't been great.
No, but they played well. There's not many teams, I tell you now, who've scored against Newcastle this season or got any change out of them, and they did. West Ham, they were well worth their point last weekend. So that's my little shout for this weekend, a little cheeky coupon wrecker potentially. But yeah, West Ham to beat Chelsea. You heard it here first. And then we go to 3 o'clocks, which are Arsenal against Brentford, Palace, Brighton in that weird derby game, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Leicester, Spurs, and then a big one at the bottom of the league, Southampton, Wolves. What are your standout games from those, mate?
I think Leicester Spurs will be good if you got Harry Kane. He loves scoring against Leicester. I think the game of the day may well be Arsenal Brentford.
Yes.
Because of that result Brentford got when they came up to the Premier League, there is a rivalry that Arteta, he likes to push it and remind the players about that fixture. I think that'll be an open, exciting game. It's a shame it's not on TV. Saying that, I won't be watching any of these games because I'm off on a romantic weekend away with my wife.
Ooh, is this pre-Valentine's or it's more than that, isn't it?
Celebrating 20 years together.
Well done, Holly. You deserve a medal.
Yeah, 20 years. So we got together when we were 16. So even the celebration is delayed due to not being able to get an overnight babysitter for so long. But we have one. So we're going to the glamorous area of Southampton.
Well, as you've told me many a time, they do very good cheap bowling.
So there is a very cheap bowling alley in Southampton. I don't want to. I mean, honestly, if you live in the.
Philip, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. No. I'm here. I don't know why I'm actually saying this. I can hear you, Ant. I can hear you.
Oh, was that me or was that you? You just froze on my screen for about 5 seconds. There we go.
Oh,
this is carnage today. Carnage.
Yeah, there we go.
You were just telling us about the sun and the sights of Southampton.
Yeah, so if you live in the New Forest region near Ringwood, or even if you live in Bournemouth, don't go to Hollywood Bowl at Tower Park. I mean, this sort of reference section of the podcast is limited in its helpfulness to most listeners, especially those in Singapore. But if you live in this area, don't go to Hollywood Bowl at Tower Park just because it's at Tower Park. 10-pin in Southampton is half the price of Hollywood Bowl. In fact, it's even cheaper than half the price of Hollywood Bowl. So there's a little tip for you. If you live in this area, thank me later. But I don't know if we're going to go bowling on our romantic weekend away.
I presume your romantic weekend will also have meatballs at IKEA.
Well, I've pushed for an 8-hour stint in IKEA as our romantic day trip. And I have been told firmly that is not happening because
that's a shame.
Last time my wife ate in IKEA, she got food poisoning.
Oh.
From a Moroccan chicken.
Oh. Okay.
Which IKEA did send us a voucher as an apology. But because there were quite a few people got sick apparently. So
great.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Undercooked chicken in IKEA has put my wife off, which is a pain because I really like IKEA.
Sort of understandable though.
Yeah, I haven't got strong words to say about their kitchen measuring team that they send out to your house. But apart from that, they've always been decent to me. Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, let's go back to the fixture. So we end.
Just really quickly, if anyone's got any restaurant suggestions in and around the Southampton region, I own an automobile, so we can travel outside of Southampton to a nice restaurant. Nothing too fancy because that irritates me. And I don't know. Say a quail. I could have roast quail or something at a fancy restaurant. I don't know if your roast quail is good or bad because I would never normally eat it.
And also there is a cost of living crisis. Let's not forget.
Yeah, and I'm very much part of that. Like I say, I don't earn as much as Chelsea Football Club spend. So, yeah.
So Saturday night then, Eddie Howe, the Messiah, back at Dean Court to end Saturday's fixtures. 5:30. It's live on the telly box, but as we know, Phil's will be having a romantic date around that time, so I presume you won't be having to watch. But my prediction for this will be that this will be the end of poor old Gary O'Neill, and he will be sacked on Saturday night after Newcastle win.
Is Eddie Howe going to get bigger cheers than Gary O'Neill? And I do.
By a mile.
Yeah,
He will.
He's going to get greeted like the Messiah.
I mean, he did unbelievable for us, but I'd argue the job he's done in turning Newcastle around from looking like relegation certainties last season to being in the Champions League places this season is, equally as good, isn't it? It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
They've not absolutely thrown money at it like Chelsea have. Yes, they've signed some players, of course they have, but he's turned their existing players, the likes of Amar and Joel Linton, into world beaters. It's incredible.
It's rare that we ever do anything good or correct, but if you want to listen back, we did a podcast when Eddie first got the job at Newcastle about that. It was a special all on Eddie and what we thought he could do at Newcastle, and we actually nailed that because that's what's happened.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I think I said mid-table, so I've actually undercooked it. But yeah, I don't think even we quite foresaw what he was going to do so quickly. But we shouldn't be surprised. That's the Eddie effect. So he'll be the England manager one day for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly should be. Anyway, moving on. Sunday, Leeds and Arsenal. Leeds and Manchester United play each other again. 2:00 kickoff for their Man City Villa. What are you thinking here? Do I stick with Nonto for this Leeds game, do you think, Phil? Or was that a flash in the pan last night?
No, because it's not flash in the pan. He's been doing well in the cup games he's been playing. And he's got something satisfying about his name. He sounds like a meal, doesn't he? He sounds, risotto.
He's a proper old school winger, isn't he? Short, low centre of gravity, and he normally has defenders on toast.
Like a good Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, like a good Ryan Fraser. That's definitely a good way of looking at
it. Less weaselly.
Less weaselly, and still, it's working out really well for Ryan Fraser at Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, City in the second game have to beat Villa after they the door opened up for them, didn't it, last weekend with Arsenal actually losing, and then they rather stupidly weren't capable of taking advantage of it.
True.
So yeah, they have to win that. Liverpool, Everton, Merseyside derby. What again? This is going to be Everton on a high, Liverpool in disarray. What do we think here?
At some point, Pickford will turn around and punch the ball into his own net, as is tradition in Merseyside derbies.
Yeah, this is true. But Liverpool, I think, sit 10th. Is that right in the Premier League table as it stands? It just, unbelievable how far they've fallen this season. And yeah, 11 points off Newcastle in fourth. It's you wouldn't have got good money on that before the start of the season, would you? Quite incredible. I know they've had injuries and know they've got their issues, but they used to build on that solid defence, didn't they, with Trent on one side, Robertson on the other. But they could have conceded a double figures at Wolves at the weekend.
Yeah,
absolute shambles.
Strong avoid for me. Strong avoid.
Yes, agreed. And then arguably the game of the season so far. It's on Prime as well. Look at that, lovely stuff. Wednesday night, the 15th of February, 7:30 kickoff. Arsenal at home to Manchester City. City, you would say, have to win this game now. Currently sit 5 points behind Arsenal and have played a game more. I just hope it's a good game, really.
It would be exciting to have 6 players in a game and watch it.
Yes, this is true.
And if I had 6 players, I wouldn't want defensive players.
Yeah, this is the trouble.
Then you just want goals, and then it's a 0-0. Yeah.
But at least if it was a 0-0, you'd have that to fall back on. So there's 2 ways of looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good fixtures.
Question is, though, is it going to be as good as Wrexham against Sheffield United? I very much doubt it.
Oh, they were feisty affairs, weren't they?
2 brilliant games of football, and it just shows it's not all about the Premier League. There is football outside of the top division.
Yes, there is. Mullin is far too good. Far too good for that league.
Well, don't forget, he scored 30-odd goals in League One, and then obviously with the project they've got at Wrexham under their big owners, of course he dropped down 2 divisions, and he should not be even in League Two or League One. He could easily play in the Championship, from what I can tell.
I am more than happy that Wrexham went out though, because there's only so many puns I can cope with from commentators about
Oh,
Hollywood moments and all of
boring.
this. Yeah, frustrating. So Anthony, it's punt time. We pick a
It is
player
punt
less than
time.
2% ownership. I'm thinking I might go for Jack Grealish.
I'm going to be controversial here. He's not
Please.
here. He's not here. So do we pick Mike's punt for him? Do we force a
Yes.
punt upon him?
Yeah, I believe he said before, because it was a bit pixelated and I couldn't quite, it kept juddering in and out. Did he say Harry Maguire or did I
I think
mishear
he
him?
did. It sounded like Maguire to me.
It sounded like Maguire. It might have been Maguire. It might have been Chukwuemeka from Chelsea.
I mean, if he's interested, Ronaldo has only got 2% ownership.
Okay.
They've got a wet lead.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we should do that for him then.
Ronaldo, yeah.
Ronaldo. Mike's gone Ronaldo. I've gone for someone who I previously said and now can't remember. Grealish, I think. Who are you going for, Amp?
I'm going for Neves, as we covered earlier. Wolves away to Southampton.
And just in case any questions are asked, Jack Grealish currently has 1.6% ownership.
Yes, and you can't imagine that going up too much before the end of the week. Good, I like it.
Okay, mate. Well, thank you very much. It's been a weird one.
It has been strange, but you wouldn't expect anything else with this pod.
No, and if you, it's a shame really, we should put the warning in at the start. This isn't a very good pod, so if you don't want to listen to it this week and just come back next week, that's absolutely fine. But if you've got this far, A,
congratulations.
Thank you. B, you win. Okay, have a good week, and we will be back next week, hopefully with something of higher quality. Goodbye.
Goodbye now.